Good morning. I hope everybody's well. It's been a while, huh? My name is Jerome and I am the Sane Realist. Sitting outside my house here, people coming and going. Married life is treating me well. I've got a wonderful wife. She loves me much. I adore her. So good for that. I am continuing to struggle with the battle against epilepsy, however. The medications continue to make me feel terrible. However, we are dialing in on it. I think I might have found a balance. There is always the fear, of course, of waking up in the emergency room. That's a real fear. Or dying. That's a real issue too. More so for my wife than for myself. One thing that epilepsy has brought me is a lack of fear, generally speaking, but especially of death. And also as a result is a rebirth of my spirituality. Let's call it that. It's as if the damage from the epilepsy has actually opened my third eye somehow. I am continuing to become more and more empathic to the point to where like with my wife, I literally know what she's thinking while she's thinking it, and it blows her mind. She's like, oh my God, I was just thinking that. I'm like looking at her, and I'm like, all of a sudden I get this image of sore feet, and I'm like, oh, your poor feet. And she's like, I was just thinking that. How do you know these things? And I'm like, I have no idea. It just pops into my head. As well, I get these, for the lack of a better word, spiritual downloads that are very powerful, very, very powerful. The images and messages that I get, I literally start tearing up and crying. It's the strangest phenomenon. I am in a state of joy, but I'm crying. Go figure. So yeah, I've gotten a certain spiritual attunement out of this that I don't think I would have gotten if it weren't for the epileptic thing. As well, I'm starting to get floods of memories from times when I really shouldn't be able to remember. Like this morning, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I had this flood of memories from clear, concise memories, including colors of rooms and scents of when when JFK was assassinated, and then the year before that. That was from the time I was literally born. I remember snuggling and cuddling with my mom. I remember the room was blue. I remember the way my mom smelled. I remember the day that JFK got assassinated. I remember the reactions of my family members. I remember the house. I remember the yard. I remember the smell. It's stunning. I looked up, when was JFK assassinated? November 1963. I would have been like 13 months old at that point. And the memories a year before that would have literally gone back to the time of my birth. Whew. That's amazing. So yeah, it's like my brain is restructuring itself, and in the process, it's triggering these old memories that people never remember. I asked my wife, well, how far back can you remember? And she said, with any accuracy, 7 years old, maybe 5 on some things, but 7. But it could have been, I could tell. She's like, well, but that was we lived there twice, so I don't know. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, it is not normal. So I'm experiencing a lot of abnormal things that are not necessarily bad, okay, but not normal, not what usually occurs. And sometimes I've got to ponder and trouble over it, and other times it's like, well, c'est la vie, and so God has sent me on this mission, and I'm taking with it the best things that I can, and there is always an upside. Stevie Wonder did a wonderful song called "Have a Talk with God," and it basically is like, when you feel that your life's too hard, just go and have a talk with God, and that's what I've been doing, and I get these amazing revelations, and this, I don't know what to call it as well. I've been very patient, gentle, and I can't call it submissive, but kind, patient, gentle, sincere with people. I've been learning to really listen and wait till they're done talking before I respond. That kind of thing has been just enormous. Being absolutely kind to people, asking myself, what would Jesus do? And then doing that has absolutely, enormously, every single person that I interact with is like, all of a sudden, how can I help you? Here, let me help you somehow. It's like, okay, this is the key. I know it sounds silly, and I doubt many people made it to this point. It's only 6 minutes, but I doubt they did. They probably quit. If you did make it to this point, well, God bless you. And, when you feel that your load's too much to bear, have a talk with God. He cares. My name is Jerome. I am the Sane Realist, and I hope you have a good day.